Clifton-Brown.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I wish to start by declaring an interest as a farmer and chairman of the All-Party Shooting and Conservation Group. Yeah. Rural communities like the Cotswolds feel totally neglected by this government. We talk about the cost of living, but the cost of rural living is even higher. The family farm tax, the rise in national insurance contribution, food bills, water bills, heating bills, business rates. I could go on, Madam Deputy Speaker. Just before the recess, the government stealthily announced the local government funding settlement, which included cuts for Gloucestershire County Council, whereas many urban authorities have seen an increase. Under the so-called fairer funding three-year review, Gloucestershire County Council will have a gap of £10 million in 26-7, £20 million in 27-28 and £30 million in 29-30. As a result, Gloucestershire will have to rely on higher council tax, including a higher police precept. They will no doubt also have cuts in services as well. In addition to all of that, Madam Deputy Speaker, my constituents also face inadequate funding for education. We are in the bottom 20% nationally funding per pupil. This is unfair on our children. The family farm tax was a cruel policy. I am pleased that the government have finally listened after 14 months and have compromised on this tax. Even though the threshold has been increased to 2.5 million, this policy will still break up farms. And is the £300 million to be raised to the Treasury really worth the destruction of the farming community? Food resilience must be the top priority. It is astonishing that the government cancelled the Food Resilience Annual Report to Parliament, and I asked them to reinstate it.
I wonder if my right honourable friend will give way on that.
Happily give way.
My honourable friend is, as ever, making a valuable contribution to our considerations. Does he recognise that energy security and food security should not be made competitors? We need to invest in energy security, of course, but not at the expense of the most fertile, valuable farmland of the country, which we need to grow enough food to feed the nation.
I'm grateful to my right honourable friend for that intervention. As a chartered surveyor who has studied rural properties and farms, we should not be putting wind farms or photovoltaics on the best farmland in this country. Yes, I will give way to my name.
The honourable gentleman for giving way. The wording of the motion seems to imply that the Conservatives are against any and all renewables in the countryside. But even the most ardent opponents of an oversized industrial-scale solar farm in my constituency of the South Cotswolds would still support rooftop solar. So I would be very grateful if the honourable member, the right honourable member, would please clarify this point, whether indeed the Conservatives are against all renewables in countryside.
So little time, but my neighbour uncharacteristically didn't clearly listen to what I said, which was we shouldn't put them on the best farmland in this country. In the North Cotswold, hospitality produces an estimated £220 million to the local economy, and we know that rising business rates are going up on average by 32,000. On average, 2 pubs a day are closing. They are literally being taxed out of existence. We shouldn't be banning trail hunting, which adds £100 million to the rural economy. I am lucky enough to represent some of the most famous hunts. And if we carry this policy through, how many people will directly or indirectly lose their jobs? How many thousands of hounds will be euthanized to support this unwelcome measure? A further threat is to the shooting industry. Shooting indirectly contributes £3.3 billion to the rural economy, £9 billion to the wider economy. Last year we saw staggering 245% increases in shotgun and firearms certificate bills. But the thing that is worrying the shooting community at the moment is the move from Section 2 to Section 1 for shotguns. This will involve a huge extra bureaucracy, and there is now a BASC petition of well over 1 million signatures opposing this. So I urge the government to reconsider this damaging proposal. And in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, rural Britain is the backbone of our nation, yet it is being systematically disadvantaged by this government. From food resilience to hospitality, from farming to country pursuits, these issues are not niche. They are fundamental to our economy, our environment, and above all, our rural way of life. If we fail to act now, we risk losing not only livelihoods, but the very fabric of our countryside.